Places like this are meant for poor folks like you. It's true, we weren't born into privilege. Still, my sister and I have supported each other and made it this far. Seeing our classmate laugh at us through his nose really made my blood boil. There's no watch here that you could afford. People at the bottom should be fine with dollar store watches. Now scram. My sister, staring back at the classmate who was shooing us away with his hand, had a fierce look in her eyes. Is that so? There's no watch that we can afford. Well then, I'll cancel the watch we had reserved. Could you please refund the deposit we paid? And with that, she extended an envelope to our classmate. My name is John. Recently, I lost my parents in an accident and have been staying at a relative's house with my younger sister, who's in elementary school. It must have been tough. We can't offer much luxury, but you're welcome to stay here until you graduate from high school. I'm currently a senior in high school, and my sister, Emily, is in the 6th grade. Having suddenly lost our parents, we were in a daze, but our relatives took us in, even if it was just for a limited time. We owed them our gratitude. However, it was tough living in a large family home. I gave up on going to college and started a part-time job to save money for living expenses for Emily and me, as well as to help out around the house. We had a small inheritance from our parents, but I wanted to save as much as possible for Emily's future, and I also needed to contribute to the living expenses of the relatives who had taken us in. So, I dropped out of high school as the new semester began. John, are you going to be late again today? Emily, clutching her favorite stuffed animal, looked up at me anxiously. She had been less cheerful lately. Being the youngest in the relative's household, I worried she might be getting bullied, but to dispel these concerns, I needed to save money as quickly as possible to find a place for just the two of us. Sorry for making you feel lonely. We'll leave here soon and live together, just the two of us. It won't be long now. I patted Emily's head and rode off on my bike down the still brightening street. I was working a morning paper route. My boss, Alan, was very understanding of my situation and always looked out for me. John, you're planning to go straight into work after dropping out of high school, right? Yes, I've already left school. I'm planning on moving once Emily graduates. One day, after finishing my morning route, Alan approached me at the office. The location isn't great, but I might be able to set you up with a job. Do you want to hear about it? It was at a factory owned by a friend of Alan's, involved in forestry and located deep in the mountains, but they were offering a house near the mountains as a residence. It's tough to rent a place as a high school dropout, and the factory is struggling with an aging workforce and a shortage of labor. You're strong and a quick learner. Alan had arranged this opportunity, knowing our difficult situation and that his friend's factory was desperately short of workers. Thank you so much. This is really helpful, as we were struggling in both aspects. In our rural hometown, job and housing options were limited for someone who had dropped out of high school, so this was an extremely generous offer. A few days later, Alan took me to the remote factory to introduce me, and we also visited the house at the foot of the mountain that they were offering. It was a small, single-story house, surprisingly neat on the inside. The utilities were clean, and the toilet was modern. It was small, but more than enough for the two of us. It was originally a mountain cabin that I renovated for my daughter. She moved to New York for work this spring, so it's vacant now. The factory manager, Mr. Miller, was a calm and kind manual. As planned, we would start working and move in March, but during the long holidays, we could stay in the house and work at the factory as a part-time job. Having secured both a job and a house, I went to thank and say goodbye to my high school teacher, Ms. Wilson. I'm glad for you. Life might be tough, but do your best, she said, gifting me an expensive-looking pen in a beautiful box as a parting gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support during this short period, I said to Ms. Wilson, expressing my gratitude before leaving the staff room. Then, I unexpectedly ran into someone I didn't want to see. It was Bob, the son of a landowner in this area. Always acting superior, he's the typical spoiled rich kid. "Hey, it's Pua John. I heard you quit school." He approached me with a smirk. Working after quitting school, must be hard being poor, living off his parents' wealth. He's always been like this. Being the son of a landowner and one of the wealthiest in our class, he always needed to feel superior to others, constantly belittling everyone. Of course, I was no exception. In this rural area, our class had mostly stayed the same from elementary through high school. Most of my classmates had endured his arrogance for 12 years, but I was relieved to retire early from it. During field trips, he would show off his lavish multi-tiered lunchbox filled with gourmet food, critiquing everyone else's lunches. "Wow, your lunch is so plain. Just frozen food. Feel sorry for you. Commoners' lunch is always so small. Can afford more food. Such comments would leave me silent, looking down, unable to respond. He spoiled the fun of every trip. His behavior wasn't limited to field trips, sports festivals, cultural festivals, even everyday school life. He was always the same. "I'm everything, and you all are nothing." That was his usual taunt. If anyone tried to respond, he'd say, "Whoa there, don't talk back to me, poor guy. I might catch your poverty, haha." But today, he added, "I'm different from you. After graduation, I'm moving to a luxury apartment in New York and going to a prestigious university." While I thought his university choice didn't matter, I was relieved this would be the last time I had to deal with him. "Yay, that's great," I replied briefly and quickly left. Then, as the new year turned to March, Emily graduated from elementary school and was set to start middle school next month. "We appreciate everything you've done for us. From now on, it's just the two of us." With that, we left our relative's house and moved to our new home. Our belongings were surprisingly few. During the winter, I had gotten my license and bought a used moped for commuting, and I worked hard every day at the remote factory. I bought Emily a bike as a gift for starting school. The commute was long, but we managed. "Sorry, it's far and inconvenient for you to get to school." "No, it's okay. Thank you for everything, John. You work so hard every day." Fortunately, the factory's hours ended before dark due to its remote location. Though I started early, I managed to shop and cook dinner every day, ensuring we always ate together. We made sure to have conversations during dinner, despite the hardships, and life was relatively enjoyable. "John, I have a request." As she was about to enter high school, Emily spoke seriously. "I want to go to college." She handed me a brochure from a national university. "I want to study marketing. I'm determined to make life easier for you in the future, and I believe I have a chance with my current academic abilities." "That's fine, Emily. Do what you want. I couldn't go, but if it's your wish, I want to support you." I had been saving for my part-time job before dropping out and hadn't touched our parents' inheritance for this very moment. We were able to rent this house at a low cost thanks to Mr. Miller's kindness, and we hadn't indulged in any major luxuries. So I had enough savings to afford her education at an average private university. When I told Emily this, she said, "Thank you, I'll definitely pay you back," and studied even harder. Already excelling academically, she consistently topped her class in high school and got accepted into her desired national university on her first try. "Well, I'm official. I'll come back during the summer and New Year holidays, so don't look so sad. I'll do my best." With her few belongings, Emily boarded the train. The house, where we had supported each other for 6 years, suddenly felt too spacious. Emily was doing her best on her own, and that motivated me to continue working hard. Even though Emily was attending a national university, living alone was costly, so I sent her money every month. It was always a joy to hear about her university life when she came home for the long holidays each year for 4 years. "John, I'm fine now. Thanks to you, I've landed a great job. In the spring of the 5th year after Emily left, she called with cheerful news. She had secured a position at a well-known major marketing company. That's amazing. You've done so well. I couldn't stop my tears over the phone. Ever since we left our relative's house, I knew we had faced many challenges. Our situation was far from privileged, and I had to ask her to endure a lot. Going to college, that was the first thing Emily ever asked of me. What are you talking about? I only made it this far because of you. We praised each other with those words. Half a year into her job, Emily sent me a letter along with an express train ticket. Dear John, now it's my turn to repay your kindness. The ticket was for my birthday. Hello, Emily. I called her in a rush. Hey, John, did you get the ticket? Come visit me. I'm waiting for you. Emily's voice was playful over the phone. On the day, I had to leave work a little late, so I ended up heading to our meeting spot in my work clothes. You're going to see Emily, right? Take it easy and take the next 2 days off, my boss said. I barely caught the express train in time. In about 2 hours, I'd be at the place where Emily was waiting. I wondered if it was okay to meet her in these clothes as I drifted off to a brief sleep. John, it's been a while. As soon as I arrived at the station, Emily ran up to me. Seeing her after about half a year felt both nostalgic and reassuring. It's been a long trip, thank you. Come on, I have a place to take you today. Follow me. She took my hand and led me to her car. Riding in the car Emily drove felt oddly refreshing. As we chatted about trivial things and drove, we arrived at a high-end watch store. This is the place. She urged me out of the car and into the store. I wanted to give you a lifetime gift for all the help you've given me. No, I'm not dressed for this, and it's too expensive. She practically pushed me into the store, where I was stunned to see a familiar face. Welcome. Oh, it's you, John. It was Bob, our former classmate. What's with that outfit? This isn't a place for poor people like you. He made a shooing gesture, obviously annoyed. Emily immediately stepped forward. I'm here to buy a birthday present for my brother. Is there a problem? Well, so you're begging your sister for watches now. You're hopeless. He laughed mockingly, comparing me and Emily, then turned to her. How did a poor girl like you manage to buy a watch from here? Did you sleep with some old guy for money? Emily remained cool. Hey, what do you know about my sister? So is your sister doing sugar dating for her brother? Even if you wear a watch from here, it won't suit a dropout like you. Pearls before swine. He opened the store door. Bottom feeders should stick to dollar store trash watches. Now scram. Bob tried to shoo us out. Emily took a deep breath and then said quietly, I understand. We can afford a watch from here, can we? That's what I'm saying. Now leave. Bob responded grudgingly. Then, Emily pulled an envelope from her bag and handed it to Bob with a smile. We'll cancel the watch I reserved, so please refund the deposit I paid in advance. Bob's face turned blue as he looked through the envelope, which bore an expression of disbelief. Inside was a receipt for the deposit, paid for a limited edition watch worth $200,000. Emily had thought it would suit me and had customized a popular luxury watch for my birthday, preparing to pick it up. She had already paid a deposit of $150,000. The commotion attracted the store manager, Daniel. What's all this about? Miss Smith, we've been expecting you. Your reserved watch is ready. Please come this way. Daniel, seeing Emily, greeted her respectfully and started to lead us to a private room for discussions. Emily shook her head. I'm sorry, but could you please cancel it? It seems there's no watch here we can afford. So we'll buy one that suits us better, she said, glancing at Bob. Bob stood there, pale and trembling. What is the meaning of this, Bob? Daniel's expression, once gentle, was now filled with anger, but he quickly turned to us. We deeply apologize for our staff's behavior. As for the refund, given the amount, Please allow us to visit you later with an apology and the refund, he said. He seemed to be checking Emily's reaction. Don't worry, this incident isn't the fault of your store, but of him, so we won't mention it in an article. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't here today. Daniel's concern was understandable. Emily was a popular blogger, and her posts could make or break a store. When Emily started university, I bought her a decent computer as a gift, thinking it would be useful for her studies and future work. She started a review blog called Ems as part of her marketing studies. Her honest product reviews, even if negative, always included constructive feedback, often proving accurate. Now, her blog reached over 1 million readers monthly, with advertising revenue sometimes exceeding $100,000. This influence helped her secure a position at a major marketing company, where she was fully utilizing her skills. Sorry, John. I didn't mean for this to happen. As we walked side by side, Emily seemed downcast. It's not your fault, Emily. Thanks anyway. We strolled around town in silence. Then I found an old shop. Though the building was old, it was well maintained, with the air of a long-established business. Hey Emily, shall we check it out? Sure, but what kind of store is it? As we approached, we realized it was a watch store. Well, these are beautiful. An old man was working in the back, and the intricately crafted watches on display caught our attention. Welcome, all these watches are made by my husband. As I was looking at them, an old lady with a gentle demeanor spoke to me. Ah, the ones in the back, they're all exquisite, Emily remarked, captivated by the watches. I asked the elderly woman if we could watch her husband work up close. I was impressed by his quick and meticulous craftsmanship. He had been making watches here for over 40 years. John, this one looks like it would suit you. Emily pointed out a watch. The elderly woman smiled proudly. Oh, you have a good eye. That's one of his masterpieces. I only make and sell things I'm proud of, like my own children, the old man said softly, glancing up with eyes full of confidence. The old man working quietly in the back muttered softly. Lifting his face for a moment, his eyes were filled with confidence. I bought the watch and immediately put it on my wrist. It felt surprisingly fitting. After thanking the elderly couple, we left the shop. It turned out to be a good purchase in the end. I got permission, so I need to write a blog post about it as soon as we get back. Emily's face had brightened up completely from before. Years have passed since then, and the watch from that day still ticks on my wrist. I regularly visit that watch shop for maintenance and have grown close to the elderly couple. Mr. Garcia, I'm here for the maintenance again. Oh, John, it's wonderful to see you taking such good care of it. I'll take a look at it right away. Have a seat and relax. Now, I even have tea with Mrs. Garcia while waiting for the maintenance. By the way, please thank Emily for me. Thanks to her, we've had an increase in customers. She said this with a smile. After Emily introduced Garcia Watch Shop in her blog, it went viral. It's now a popular shop with a 1-year waiting list for reservations. Really, we've been so busy lately, but it's a good problem to have. The old man appeared to be smiling as well. While we were talking, customers started visiting and making reservations. Here you go, it's done. The watch, returned to my wrist after maintenance, seemed to shine even brighter. Thank you so much, especially with how busy you are. I thanked the elderly couple and left the shop. The luxury watch store where I had encountered Bob was gone. After that incident, Daniel and Bob apparently visited Emily with an apology. Emily said she wasn't concerned about the $200,000 watch anymore but would never forgive Bob for his behavior towards me. Bob was fired from the watch store and faced a significant compensation claim for losing Emily as a major client in the $200,000 deal. He hasn't returned to our hometown, and his whereabouts are unknown. Rumors say that after telling his parents about the compensation, they were furious and disowned him. Emily and I have since married, and I moved to Tokyo. I am now an apprentice at Garcia Watch Shop, learning to make watches. Repeated visits for maintenance led to an offer to take over the shop. At first I declined, thinking I owed the original factory a favor, but I was overcome by the old woman's enthusiasm. The opportunity to learn from Mr. Garcia was a significant draw. Mr. Miller from the factory sent me off with his blessings. Now, my sister's family lives nearby, making for lively and warm days. The hardships of my student days were significant, but the warm family I sought is now here with me. John, I brought some snacks. Emily visited the workshop with my niece, Jennifer. In moments like these, I savor the happiness, hoping for these peaceful times to continue. With this hope, I live each day to the fullest,